Hey everybody, this is Pedro from Boys and Our Toys. Haven't made a video in a while, and I thought I would make one today to kind of talk about some of the obstacles that I'm finding in the hobby of collecting toys and action figures and stuff like that. I, unlike lots of folks who have very successful YouTube channels, still have a regular job. You know, I work 5 days a week. And I work in an industry that takes up a lot of my time outside of work, so I don't get to commit as much time as I would like to the hobby and to my collections. As you can see by my background, I have just piles of toys and collectibles everywhere. So I'm trying to thin the herd. Today, what I hope to do is go through just the things that are on my workstation, on my desk, which constitutes just some recent pickups, recent ideas. You might recognize a couple things from videos that I've already posted, but just to go through kind of new stuff and get it off my desk. So as I go through it here, I'm going to be putting it in a box, which will then go with the other boxes. In an effort to start sorting things out and making some progress. My hope is that by the time I'm done with this sort and doing all these things, that I will have pared down to a few primary collections to focus on, so that I'm not drowning in you know, toys and stuff. All right, so if you haven't yet, like and subscribe. And if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up, and you know, leave a comment. If you struggle with the same kind of obstacles of, you know, you like everything, you want to collect everything, and you're out of room, you know, leave me a comment, and maybe we could form some kind of self-help group or something. All right, here we go. All right, so as you can see, this is just going to be what's directly in front of us right here. But my desk goes, I'll give you a quick pan. Desk goes from over there all the way around over here. And I'm just going to, you know, take these things off my desk one at a time, talk a little bit about them, get them in a box, and get them into the sort pile. All right, so first I'm going to bring up these two. If you don't recognize them, they are part of the G.I. Joe Classified series. One is a Marine Corps sniper, which I think is her. And this guy is the action pilot, if memory serves. I don't have all their gear and stuff here in front of me, but I got them both at Ollie's a few days ago. She actually comes with a few different heads, so that you could get more than one and have more than one trooper. She also comes with like a ghillie suit and a pretty sweet sniper rifle that you could take apart and put in a carry bag on a rucksack. He comes with all kinds of like halo jumping equipment, a big parachute bag, an actual parachute, a halo kind of helmet and eyewear accessories and stuff. Pretty cool. And again, like I said, I found them both at Ollie's for $12, so couldn't pass them up. Those are our first two coming off the workstation. Then we have Storm Shadow. If you don't recognize this, it's a Storm Shadow from the Classified series. I'm not too deep into the Classified series yet, but I'm a lifelong G.I. Joe collector. I collected them throughout the 80s. Got really heavy into the 12-inch stuff in the late 90s, or the mid 90s all the way into the 2000s. And then circled back to these because the Real American Hero is really kind of what I grew up collecting as a kid. That's really the primary toy collection that I had. This guy's actually modeled after the version 2 of Storm Shadow from Real American Hero. So he has this kind of recognizable like ninja outfit from like 80s movies and stuff. Really reminds me of like American Ninja or you know, one of those types of movies. I remember as a kid, he was one of my favorites. I used to take it with me everywhere, and he got a lot of use. So here he is in the classified scale, 6-inch scale. Pretty dope figure. All right, he goes in the box. Let me get the big item off the table. This is a Ecto-1. Bring the camera back a little bit. This is an Ecto-1 from the, I want to say Hasbro line, the recent Hasbro line. I found this again at Ollie's on sale. I think I paid $12 for it again. Had a little bit of assembly. Had to apply the stickers, put on the doors and the roof and stuff. And it's a toy, you know, it's not like a fine collectible or anything, but it is a solid Ecto-1. You'll see on this side it's got the ladder and the hoses and stuff. It has the drone ghost trap from the more modern movies, and this is from that more modern toy line, but a solid vehicle, and I think it's going to look good with some of the different toy lines, and we'll see where we can go with that. All right, so that's the Ecto-1 coming off the workstation. I don't even know if I remember what this desk looks like without having all this stuff on it. We'll take our Boss Fight Studios 3 3/4 inch kind of underworld Roman warrior guy. I don't remember if he has a name. I actually got this guy a long time ago, but I found him recently in a miscellaneous box, found all his pieces, and really remember how great these figures were. I didn't get a whole lot of them when they were coming out with this wave. I know they're still in circulation, but this guy, top notch. All these accessories are removable and exchangeable. I also got one of the big snake figures that I don't think I have close to me right now, that I was going to customize as a 3 3/4 inch Colobulus from G.I. Joe. Still haven't done that. I have a million projects that I plan on doing and intended to do. Still haven't gotten to, but this guy got all his parts and pieces together. He goes into the box to be sorted with everything else. All right, you'll see directly in front of me here, I have some Black Star figures. I got these primarily to recreate a photo, and I'll try to put that photo in the video so you can see it, but it's a picture of, I want to say Christmas or my birthday when I was a very young child. And in the picture I had a Snake Mountain and what at the time I thought was a bunch of Masters of the Universe figures, but they weren't. They were mostly these figures. So in trying to recreate that picture now as a 45-year-old, I was going around and finding these figures. These are the two of the little kind of goblin figures that came with these Black Star figures. I don't know if this one came with this figure. I'm not sure if this one came with one of these other figures. I found these, I found him in a yard sale, I believe, or a rummage sale, and my friend actually bought me these two for my birthday, because he's also a geek for this stuff, and I was telling him about the picture I want to recreate, so he got me these. So shout out to him. I won't put his name out there in case he's still a closeted dork. But we got these figures. You can see the articulation is very Masters of the Universe reminiscent. These came out in that same time period in the 80s. Great figures. I also have he has like a set of small wings that peg in there, and I have those as well. Looking forward to recreating that picture. We'll put him back. And here we have, I think his name is John Blackstar himself. And this is a later version that had the flint light in his chest. Still works. I think I got him in a Lucy bin at one of our local collectible shops, Pandora's Box, over in Lafayette, New Jersey. Got him for, you know, probably $5 or $8. This sword does not go with him. Of course, this is a, I want to say a Lord of the Rings sword or a Mythic Legion sword, something like that. But looks good with him, right? And here is his foe. The main villain from that line. Don't have any of his accessories, but they're going to look good in the display. Okay, we also have this Skeletor. Masters of the Universe. I think this is one of the Filmation figures that are coming out nowadays. Not too old. I think I paid regular price for him. He wasn't on clearance or anything. But just a solid kind of Filmation cartoon version of Skeletor with his Havoc staff. Good figure. If you ask my wife, I have, you know, 13 versions of Skeletor. Why do I need another one? It's just, well, you know, that's a Filmation one. That's why I need it. I got some of these. If you haven't seen these, they are blind boxes for Good Guy dolls or Chucky dolls. I got these at our local FYE, terribly priced for a blind box thing. I think I paid like $25 or $28 each for them. Had I known they were that expensive, I probably wouldn't have got them, but they didn't have a price. And I took them up to the register, and it was kind of like, well, I'm already here, so may as well get them. So my son Gabe likes Chucky. I do as well. I collect a lot of horror movie stuff. So I thought it'd be cool for us to do these blind boxes, open them up. So the two that I got, I think there's six different ones that you could get. I got a regular kind of all-together happy-go-lucky looking Chucky, and then I got this kind of angry looking abs out. I didn't know Chucky had a six-pack, but abs out Chucky. He came with a like a butcher's knife that I have in a box somewhere. But two Chucky dolls. They have great articulation. I mean, that might be worth the cost alone. They're not like just static vinyl figures or anything. They're very articulated. Pretty cool. But there was one that I really wanted. I think he had like his face is peeled, like half of his face. So I don't know that I'll buy more of these at the regular price, but if I do, it'll be because I really want that one. All right, so off the workstation they go. The next ones I'll bring up are a set of Marvel Legends that I've really wanted since I actually read the Old Man Logan comic book series. This is like Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Logan. Got this 2-pack at a local comic shop in Chester, New York. Hadn't seen it when it came out. This is an older 2-pack. But when I went to that comic shop, it was there. It was a good price. And these are two characters that I love in the comic books. You know, I don't read as avidly as I did when I was younger, but this is a comic series that I really enjoyed not that long ago. So Old Man Logan, Old Man Hawkeye, going into the box for sorting. And you're going to have to forgive me because I don't know everybody's names, but I did get this character from an X-Men Marvel Legends series that helped me to complete a Build-A-Figure that I was looking to complete. But here he is. I don't know his name. It's pretty cool looking. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me what his name is and why I should know it. But again, you know, I read comics really in the mid to late 80s to the mid to late 90s. I didn't read everything. I had a couple titles that I really read. X-Men was certainly one of them, you know, and all the different X teams. But I didn't get into all the stories. So I have him. He's going to look great in the display when I figure out who we should go with. Along that same vein, we have X-Force Jean Grey. There's lots of Jean Grey figures, and like everybody has their opinions about them. She was never like one of my top team members, although I always recognized, you know, her importance to the team. But this is a great figure. It's going to look great in my X-Men display or my X-Force display once I get a few more of those classic X-Force looking characters. But Jean Grey, got her on clearance at Target, I want to say for like $7. Can't beat it. I finally broke and got Kalnaka, the Wookiee Jedi from that Star Wars series that I didn't like very much. I can't think of its title right now. The Acolyte. You know, I'm not one of those people that's like that craps on everything that gets made nowadays. I'm just happy to have content to watch. You know, so I watched The Acolyte, and even though it wasn't my favorite, I just appreciated having a new Star Wars show to watch, and I really enjoyed the parts that Kalnaka was a part of. He's a Jedi Wookiee. He came with a green lightsaber that's like bigger than most of the other figures. And if you watch his fight scene in the show, it was really awesome. I mean, he's just like a powerhouse. And he's a Wookiee Jedi, so why not, right? Oh, I got the window open. There's a motorcycle going by. Got this NECA Ninja Turtle 4-pack wrestler pack that was, I believe, from Archie Comics. I did read a lot of Ninja Turtle comics when I was a young man or a young kid. I don't know that I got that deep into the Archie mythos for any extended period of time, but just couldn't pass these up. They're just, you know, funny looking versions of the Turtles. And there are some other wrestler figures in this line that NECA put out that I want to get my hands on, some different like alien mutant looking figures. But pretty cool. And they came with all of these accessories that you can use with lots of different lines. Like I think there was a chair and like a ring bell, a fire extinguisher, some cups and sodas and stuff. So can't go wrong with it. I think I got this for Christmas last year, but I finally opened it up, and there it is, the NECA 4-pack Wrestler Turtles. Okay. Off the workstation and in the box for sorting. See in front of me here, I have one of these mech suits. I did a few videos on these, or they're in a few of my videos. This is a mech suit that I got from Dollar General. They're $15. They went around big a few years ago with a lot of folks customizing these for the classified figures. I have three. You'll see I have that one behind me, that one on the other side. They're certainly not new. I still haven't customized them yet because, again, I have 1,000 projects and no time to do them. But the reason I have these up here as new buys isn't because of the mech suits, it's because of the figures. I got the 3-pack of the classified Crimson Strike Force, so you got Tomax or Zaymot, whichever one that is. And if I move him back and move him forward, I have the other twin in here, so that's both Crimson Twins from the classified series. I'm going to take them off the workstation for the moment. And then I have, to knock everything over now, then I have the Baroness, who was the third figure in that Crimson Strike 3-pack. So there she is, the classified Baroness, and I'll leave her there in the middle. Over here I have two of these Star Wars Rabbit figures. I remember when they came out, I grabbed one from GameStop, and I didn't read the Extended Universe stories. Wasn't really a big Star Wars comic book reader. But when I found it at the GameStop at the time when it came out, the guy at GameStop was, talking about how important the character was, and that GameStops were only getting, a limited amount of them. Really just sold the crap out of me on it. So I bought them back then, and then lo and behold, a few weeks ago or months ago, I found a bunch of them at a local Ollie's for $9. So I grabbed these two. My hope is to kind of make the three that I have all together some kind of like a squad of, rabbit aliens in some Star Wars diorama that I make down the line. These aren't the weapons that came with them. I think that the weapons on this one are from a video game figure line. They're made out of metal. Pretty cool kind of sci-fi looking weapons. This gun, I'm not sure where it came from. It's plastic. It's not metal. But it fits in. It looks good. Almost looks like a cable rifle, but it's too small for that because 90s cable had just massive refrigerator size blasters. But yep, those are the start of a Rabbit alien attack squad in a Star Wars diorama. This was the Build-A-Figure that I bought that caped Marvel Legend to finish. You'll see, what's his name? I know his comic book name, but you can't say it because you don't want to get in trouble. His new name for comic book readers is Nemesis. He is a update on an old Build-A-Figure that I never got, and this is fairly rare. But this one was attainable. I started getting the figures when I started seeing them hit shelves, and then the last piece I needed was a leg. I accidentally ordered an extra Cyclops because I thought he had the leg, but he doesn't have the leg, he has an arm. So I have an extra Cyclops. You see I paid $25 for him. But I was able to find the missing leg that I needed, and here he is, the Nemesis Build-A-Figure. Marvel Legends, pretty imposing figure. And I gotta say, I'm a fan of the, skull and spacesuit kind of look. I feel like he's gonna fit in great with my Cosmic Legions and sci-fi dioramas and stuff. So there's Nemesis. All right, we're gonna go, since I brought up Legions, let's talk a little bit of Four Horsemen here. Okay, this is a new figure that I got, but this isn't the way that I got him, right? This figure, I think, is an Elven Archer figure. The great thing about Mythic Legions and Four Horsemen toys is they come with like a deep mythos. You get a little story and explanation for each figure. But I got this figure actually because I had gotten their accessory pack that had all these different heads and stuff in it, and I didn't have a figure that I could have used this panther head for. So when I saw this figure, he had the black arms and the black legs. I thought, hey, let's give it a try. So I picked him up at a collectible shop, popped the head on him. He looks pretty good. I got to find some hands that would work better than these hands, or at least some armored hands. And he actually comes with a tail, but this figure doesn't have a plug for a tail. So You know, it's a start. I'll keep looking for a figure that'll better suit the panther head, because there's also like a big chest piece, neck piece, and head. This really could just fit the head. But he looks pretty good. The little panther knight. I think he's going to look cool amongst the other animal warriors that I have for my Mythic Legions displays. He goes away. Okay, here is a Power Rangers Lord Zed. This is a you know, 90s kind of thing. I got him in a yard sale for $1 or $2. I've never really been a Power Rangers collector, but over the years of buying lots and figures and stuff, I have a little bit of a Power Rangers collection, and I don't have a Lord Zed, so picked him up for, I think, probably $2. He'll go in my vintage boxes to be sorted later. Okay. Alright, here are two more Marvel Legends figures. Now, she was a part of that Nemesis collection. I think her name is Husk, and I don't know much about her in the comics, but what I've been able to gather is she can kind of turn her skin into different materials, and the way that she does that is it happens under her skin, and then she has to like pull her skin off to reveal it. So that's kind of you know, creepy, but cool idea. And this is a What If Gamora. What If was a great comic book line when I was a kid that I collected, and it was all these like, hey, what if this didn't happen in the mainline story? You know, how would that have progressed? And now you can see What If cartoons on Disney Plus and stuff. So this was one of the episodes where Gamora kind of took over Thanos' mantle. Cool figure. I like the Thanos sword. I wasn't able to get the Thanos Build-A-Figure that kind of came with this sword, so now I have it. So that's Husk and Gamora. Put them in the box for sorting. We'll go to this guy. I have a pretty deep Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. It is a toy line that I played with as a kid. Like I said earlier, G.I. Joe was always the primary, but Ninja Turtles got big there for a little while. So this is a Krang from the Royal Subjects line. Pretty cool figure. He can go into this thing, and these arms plug into the robot body, or he has other little arms that plug directly into the side of the brain itself, and can sit on top of this little tripod stand that he comes with. I'm going to display him like this, but there he is, Krang. I liked all the details and stuff on this. You know, this line is pretty cool. I wish they were in the same scale as, you know, some of the other lines, although this Krang is a bit bigger than the other loyal subjects figures, so he might fit in a little easier with some of the other toy lines that I collect. There, along those same lines, I got this 4-pack from Loyal Subjects of the 4 turtles. Fairly sure these are maybe made after the Image comics in their looks. They came in a 4-pack, and I got them at Ross for, I think I got the whole 4-pack for under $20. And I remember seeing the 4-pack after I got it from Ross on sale in lots of different places, still for like $80 or more. So, you know, I always love a deal. Got those 4. They're coming off the workstation. In that part of that same line, or at least the Loyal Subjects line, I got this Casey Jones. I enjoy this figure because he looks like he's from that 90s cartoon that a lot of us grew up with. If you're my age and you grew up in the you know, the 80s and early 90s, you'll recognize this version of Casey Jones as the one who was a part of that, cartoon that we all watched after school. Pretty cool, but again, the scale for these is a bit smaller than the modern figures. Definitely if you're collecting like Super 7s or NECA or anything like that. Now these are way too small for those, and they're slightly off also for the vintage line, the 5.5 line. So they're kind of their own thing. Still cool. I'm sure I'll come up with some kind of way to display them. But there he is, Casey Jones. And if you get the Turtles and you get Casey Jones, if you have the opportunity, you have to get Bebop and Rocksteady. Again, these look just like they look like modern versions of the classic figures and the classic characters that were a part of that cartoon series. Just pure nostalgia. Again, just scaled small. They come with their human version heads, which are the heads they had before they were mutated, and they come with a set of flesh-colored hands for each. That way you can kind of have them before they mutated and then after they mutated. Cool figures. Got them on sale again. I think I got them at Ross for like $4 a piece or $5 a piece. Can't beat it. And last for that line, I think I got this Foot Assassin figure. I've seen a version of the figure with a yellow head, but when I got this figure at Ross, this was the one that they had. I don't know much about the character. I don't recognize him from any of the cartoons that I'd watched or from the Nickelodeon show that I watched with my kids, but he's got great articulation. He looks good. Got the Lady Deathstrike finger thing going on from Marvel. I like him. He comes with lots of different accessories, different hands and stuff. And I got him again for like $4 or $5. All right, he goes in the box. Here's a step away from what I normally collect. I have these three. Let's see if I can get them to stand now. Ooh, a little spider on. Ooh. Okay, I have these three Dragon Ball Z figures. I actually don't collect Dragon Ball Z. I really don't have anything that's like anime or manga related or anything in my collection, but I found these at a yard sale. We had like a community-wide yard sale in one of the neighboring communities, and I got there late and I felt like I'd missed everything, and then one table had dollar figures, so I said, you know what, I'll use them for something at some point. So I got these three guys. I have no idea who their names are. I have no idea anything about them, but they're super articulated, solid figures. And when I got them, I thought, man, these figure bases are just so solid. Maybe I should start picking them up for like customizing and stuff. But these are the only three I have. So there they go, Dragon Ball Z. I got this Rocksteady on his motorcycle. That's from I think the newest iteration of Ninja Turtles. And you'll see, it comes on that bike. He's pretty well positioned to just be on that bike. Like, he looks weird if you take him off the bike and stand him up. The proportions of this iteration of Ninja Turtle figures are weird to me, but they're here, a lot like that Acolyte Star Wars show I was talking about. Like, I'm just happy that my kids have something to collect, that I have something to collect that's a nostalgic toy line for me. It reminds me a lot of my childhood, and in today's world, why not be reminded of happier times, right? So got this little motorcycle, this little Rocksteady figure. I don't know where he's going to go yet, but I'm sure I'll get him somewhere in some display. So also got him on sale. I think I paid $10 for him with the motorcycle, so pretty good deal. got this guy, X-Force Archangel. He's actually the first Angel figure that I have for my Marvel Legends. He didn't come with this action stand. I got that, I think, off of Amazon for cheap in like a 10-pack. But it is a flight stand, and you can make it taller or shorter, especially if you have multiple of them. They kind of screw together. But he is awesome, right? He comes with these great wings. And I remember, I was around when he went from Angel to Archangel, when Apocalypse kind of magnified his powers and made him one of his horsemen. Great story, great, was kind of like the first serious story, about redemption and everything that I had read as a kid. I was a huge comic book reader, and I remember this story very well. It's great to have an Angel figure now, and I'm going to put him with my modern kind of X-Force figures, because he's got that outfit on. But I look forward to getting another Angel figure. That way I can, with the original feathery wings, so I can put him with my X-Men. Great figure. Alright, I'm going to set these guys up here in the middle, and these aren't new figures for me. I've had these figures since, my childhood. But what I got were these motorcycles, and I got them from my pastor, believe it or not. Shout out Pastor D. He collects cars, like scale cars and stuff. Has a great collection and an awesome display. He sends me pictures of it from time to time. Really cool stuff. He didn't have anything to use for these motorcycles, so he gave them to me one day, and I wanted to show him how well they could fit with 3 3/4 inch figures. So these are my dreadnoughts on these motorcycles. I don't know what I'll do with them. I have, a pretty extensive G.I. Joe figure collection. Over the recent years, I've been selling off my play sets and vehicles and stuff just because of space. Sad to say that I parted with my USS Flag. I parted with a Defiant Space Shuttle Center. I parted with a Terror Drone. Parted with a mobile command unit. Parted with a transformable battle platform. All of the big play sets that G.I. Joe put out that I had. Not ones that I had from childhood, but ones that I had gotten over the years of collecting. I parted with them. Sad to see them go, and I'll always regret selling them, but I just didn't have room for them. Okay, what else is left? Just one or two more things. Have this guy. This is a doll jet ski. Believe it or not, I got this at Dollar Tree for $1.25. And I saw somebody online had customized it for classified figures. So I think I'll probably do the same thing at some point, another project that I have that's unfinished. But when it is finished, I think that's going to look pretty cool. Alright. Here's another mid-stroke project here. I got a custom that I'm working on. This is, I don't have a character name for it, but this is an Icarus figure with a Nova. Is this a Nova head or a Black Knight head? I think it's a Black Knight head. Yeah, I think it's a Black Knight head. And a Demi-Goblin sword, a little flame effect. I'm not really sure where I'm going with it. I'm just trying to kind of feel for some kind of custom figure. I'm not huge in making customs. I've made a few over the years, but this is one that I just kind of been thinking over for a couple of weeks. You can find these Eternals figures at your local Ollie's for the last few years. We'll probably be able to find them until you know, the year 2030 for dirt cheap. I think they're going at my local Ollie's now for like $4. So, you know, something to try out. But I'm going to get him off the workstation because he's kind of stagnated a little bit, and I need to make room for new projects. Right, and the last things on my workstation, if you've watched my videos, you might recognize these guys. These are two more mech suits that I had gotten at a yard sale a few months back. And I made a video of different mech suit options for your classified figures, which is what, you know, the original video that I made for that mech suit. But I got these in a yard sale for pretty cheap. I mean, it was a big lot of figures for, you know, a couple bucks. But I'm showing you the Loyal Subjects Ninja Turtle figures. I have the whole set of turtles. I love the way they're kind of comic book accurate. The little slight different colors of their skin tones. Raphael and Leonardo are the same way. Just different, like they're different kinds of turtles, which I appreciate, the hand wraps and colors and stuff. Yeah, so those are two big mech suits. I think these mech suits are from the 90s. And I'll keep working on customizing those also, because, you know, when you get things at yard sales, you don't always get all the accessories, like all the missiles that are missing, and the other nunchuck hand thing that's missing from here. And, you know, similarly on this mech suit, I think this is Leonardo's mech suit, there's like big missing swords that flip out and stuff. But they are electronic, they kind of roll on their own, so we're going to customize those up and see how cool we can make them. Alright, so that is my video for today. I'm sorry it's a little long, but I really needed to clean off this workstation. You know, I haven't really been able to do anything new. I haven't been able to kind of work on anything or plan anything, and just seeing it covered in things just gives me anxiety. My room behind me, you'll see my room behind me, it just gives me so much anxiety, and I can't wait for it to be kind of cleaned up and have a suitable backdrop for these videos. So hey, if you have these same problems as a collector, drop me a comment. If you like these kinds of videos, give me a like and subscribe, and I hope to see more of you as we keep going down this journey. All right, have a good day.